Hey there and welcome. So we see missiles in the news constantly, right? But what are they really? Let's get past all the headlines and actually dig into the technology that is literally reshaping modern warfare.
I mean, just think about that for a second. The whole idea of conflict has changed. We're not talking about traditional front lines anymore. The modern battlefield can stretch across an entire continent, with strikes being launched from thousands of miles away. And that's all because of the tech we're about to break down.
All right, so let's cut through the noise. We're going to explore what these things are, how they work, and maybe most importantly, why the newest generation is creating such a massive challenge for global security.
Okay, first things first. Let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is a missile? It sounds almost too simple, but the official definition is the key to understanding, well, everything else. Now, there are two words here that are everything: self-propelled and guided. Self-propelled. That just means it has its own engine, unlike a bullet or an artillery shell. But guided, that's the real game changer. It means it has a brain. It can actually think for itself and adjust its course mid-flight, which makes it unbelievably precise. And of course, unbelievably dangerous.
So while there are tons and tons of different kinds out there, pretty much all modern missiles fall into three main families. You can think of them as the main branches of the missile family tree. If you get these three, you'll get the big picture of what's happening today.
And here they are. You've got the classic, the ballistic missile. Then there's the sneaky one, the cruise missile. And finally, the disruptive newcomer, the hypersonic. Each one is totally different with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. Let's see how they stack up.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. Think of a ballistic missile like throwing a rock as hard as you can. It gets one massive push at the beginning, soars way up, maybe even into space, and then comes down in a pretty predictable arc. A cruise missile, though, that's more like a tiny, self-flying jet. It stays low, it can hug the ground, and its engine is on the whole time, letting it weave and change direction whenever it needs to.
So you might be wondering, what if you could combine the insane speed of that ballistic missile with the smart, unpredictable maneuvering of a cruise missile? Well, that's it. That's exactly what a hypersonic missile is, and that is why this is such a huge deal.
Okay, so we've got the what. Now let's talk about the how. How does a missile actually get from point A to point B? Turns out, no matter which type it is, every missile's journey basically has three distinct parts, like a three-act play.
It all kicks off with the boost phase. That's just pure brute force to get off the ground and up to speed. Next comes the mid-course phase. This is the long, quiet part of the trip where it's just coasting or cruising, and the guidance systems are doing all the work, making sure it's on the right path. And then finally, the terminal phase. This is the last second dash to the target where it makes those tiny final adjustments for a perfect hit.
Which, of course, brings us to the multi-trillion-dollar question, right? If you can launch these incredible weapons, can you actually stop them? This is where the simple physics of speed and time create an absolutely massive problem for anyone trying to build a defense.
This is the number that changes the entire game. Mach 5. That's 5 times the speed of sound. We're talking about roughly 1 mile per second. That's the barrier for a weapon to be called hypersonic. And just to put that in perspective for you, a missile flying that fast could get from New York to Los Angeles in about 30 minutes. Just let that sink in for a moment.
And that right there is the question that defense agencies all over the world are grappling with, because it isn't just about the speed, it's about combining that incredible speed with intelligence, and that creates a problem that is just unbelievably hard to solve.
This right here, this is the defender's nightmare scenario. First up, the speed. The time between seeing it launch and the moment it hits is terrifyingly short. Then you've got its ability to maneuver. You can't just calculate where it's going to land because it can swerve and dodge, making it impossible to predict. And to top it all off, it flies low, hugging the curve of the Earth to hide from radar for as long as possible. It's that trifecta, speed, maneuverability, and stealth, that makes this thing such a revolutionary threat.
And, all of this leaves us with a really tough and so far unanswered question. For decades, global defense was built around predictability. But we've just entered a whole new era, one that's defined by blinding speed and intelligent unpredictability. This isn't just another arms race, it's a fundamental shift in the rules of the game. And the biggest question of all is, what comes next?